The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost. Edge Boost enables you to double your bet with no interest. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge to get started today. Welcome everyone to the MLB Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is Monday, May the 22nd, currently 5:01 on the East Coast. Here to break down the Tuesday betting card on the diamond, and joining me here, help me to break it down. You guys know him as the voice of the NFL Gambling Podcast, and of course, you're on the MLB Gambling Podcast. It's Dylan Rockford. D-Rock, what's going on, my man? How you doing?
What's going on, Munaf? Good to be with you. Haven't seen you since becoming a father, so congratulations. And yeah, have you been keeping you up late at night?
Oh yeah, for sure. Me and Mal were discussing this yesterday. That for our listeners, they know that Mal is about 4 to 5 hours ahead of us in Newcastle. So anytime he sends a message, anytime he's waking up, it's probably like 3 or 4 in the morning for us. And then he sent a message, I think, last week in our little group chat, and I responded maybe like 20-30 minutes later, and he was like, "Oh, what is Munaf doing up?" And then yeah, I was feeding the little one at that time. But yeah, it is sleepless nights, but it's definitely 100% worth it. But appreciate everybody in the chat. Congratulating me. It's been life-changing, I'll say that much. I think that's where we're at right now. But Dylan, you have what should I say, revived the New York Mets after your rant last week. What do they won now? 5 in a row since you absolutely ripped them a new one.
Yeah, I saw you were texting in our Slack group chat, and you were like, "Love the energy." And it was from the heart. You know me, Munaf.
Oh, yeah.
I let him have it. And I couldn't stand it because I was watching him. Me and my dad were watching the game. And then you had Francisco Lindor just laughing all the way to the dugout. But I'm glad a couple emotional wins against the best team in baseball, the Rays. I mean, I don't want to take all the credit. They are playing actually pretty good baseball right now. Very good start from Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander yesterday. Back-to-back double starts. Playing good baseball. It might have saved their season. So we'll see. They're going on the road. They're playing the Cubs and the Rockies. So they got to win those games. But yeah, it feels good to revive the Mets.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a long season. It's 162 games. But I all the hype, we talked about it when we did the division previews. And, not only just our shows, but, gambling Twitter and things like that with the moves that the Mets did make this offseason, that they were projected to be one of the teams getting close to at least 100 wins this season. I think their win total was at 95.5 or something around that, if I'm not mistaken.
It was like 95, 96, something like that.
Yeah. So, I think they're going to be okay. I think a lot of it was, Max Scherzer being in and out of the rotation, Justin Verlander, slowly starting to come back here for the Mets. Had some pitching issues, but it looks like they're going to be okay. It's just, the offense is the one thing that you always worry about with this team. But hopefully for Mets fans like yourself, it's better days are definitely ahead now. They are on a win streak of 5 in a row here. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. Tuesday, a 15-game schedule on the docket, but we are missing lines for 4 games. That's because we don't have pitchers for those games yet. We'll kind of go through each game as we usually do. And then, if we don't have a pitcher yet, we'll go ahead and mention it. And then we'll just kind of skip through that game. But again, this is a good reminder to tell you guys just to make sure, check out our picks over on our website, sportsgamblingpodcast.com, for the games that we don't discuss because the pitchers do sometimes get announced overnight and things like that. We might have to do a weekly segment now, Dylan, for you called Dylan's Rants. For our fans, I know Riley asking, can you rip the Jays new one for him? And then also TV DBJ saying same with the Brewers, please. So,
I mean, if it's helping all these teams, I'll be sure to do it. But I don't know if I have that magic. I think it was just because it was my team, and I once I did it, I knew they were going to win. I just knew it. But I didn't expect 5 games in a row. I'll say that. But I'll say this, and then we can get into Tuesday.
Yeah.
Daniel Vogelbach still makes me cringe. He still sucks. I'm sorry. He's garbage.
Yeah. Where's he batting? He's batting at the bottom of the lineup, right?
Yeah, and I don't understand why they continue to trot him out. Let the young guys play. My buddy was at the game and they said the crowd was just electric. Once Mark was up, Beatty was up,
Mhm.
and I'm not gonna say. And I was talking with Mal, I think the other pod about Gary Sanchez bringing him up.
Yeah.
He actually played okay. He
Yeah.
actually caught a decent game for Justin Verlander, so he was okay. He wasn't as bad as I thought he would be.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I know there's a lot of great prospects. I know we talked about Beatty as well at the beginning of the season for the New York Mets, so we shall see. Dylan, before we do get into the schedule here, let me go ahead and pay some bills here and let everyone know about the newest sponsor on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. That is Edge Boost. Have you signed up for Edge Boost yet? If not, you're missing out. Edge Boost is the world's first bet now, pay later Visa card. Similar to buy now, pay later programs, Edge Boost enables you to double your bet with no interest and pay back the advance over 4 equal weekly installments. That's right, at 0% interest. Simply deposit funds into your account, and Edge Boost will match the deposit so you can use uh, 2 times of funds on any legal sports betting site. Edge currently offers up to $2,500 in advances and up to $2,500 you can add to your bankroll. My Edge Boost double down play of the day. Wait for the lock and dog segment. You'll get those from myself and Dylan. But how to take advantage of it? Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge to sign up today. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge. Must be 21 years or older to use. Only valid in legal gambling states. Problem gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, D-Rock, let's get into the schedule here for Tuesday. First game on the board, I am looking at the AL Central matchup between the Chicago White Sox and the Cleveland Guardians. Seeing Dylan Cease is going to get the start here for the Chicago White Sox. Logan Allen, left-handed pitcher, gets the start for the Cleveland Guardians. Guardians, slight home favorite, -115, -105 on the take-back price for the Chicago White Sox. Total is set at 8. Run line -1.5 +170 at +1.5 -200 for the White Sox. Dylan Cease has gotten off to a Dylan Cease not like start to the season. And I'm not sure if it is the pitch clock that's affecting him, but we've talked about this throughout the season, at least in the starts so far here, Dylan, that walks have kind of been a concern for him, especially early on in the month of April, where he was giving up a lot of walks. At least over his last 2 starts, he hasn't allowed that many. But 3 of his last 4 starts, Dylan, he's given up at least 4 earned runs in 4 of those last 5 starts. He did face the Guardians in his last start, where he did have we can say a pretty good outing. He went 6 1/3, allowed 3 earned runs, did result in a loss for the Chicago White Sox, 3-1 victory for the Guardians. You take a look at the other side, left-handed pitcher Logan Allen. He's been really good for the Cleveland Guardians on the season. He's 1-1 with 3.04 ERA. At home, 1-0 with a 3.38 ERA. His last start was on May 18th in that same matchup against Dylan Cease, and he had the better outing where he did go 5 2/3 of an inning, allowed 7 hits and only 1 earned run in that game. I'm not sure I can still continue trusting Dylan Cease here. I know he can get the strikeouts, but the location and the command has been an issue for him so far this season. He does have a 4.78 ERA over his last 5 games, 6.84 in his career against the Guardians here, Dylan. He is, let's see here, 4-4 with a 3.81 ERA. Since 2022, he's 2-2 with a 2.45 ERA. I'm going to trust the Guardians at home here. I like what I've seen from Logan Allen thus far this season. I know over the last couple of seasons, when you saw Dylan Cease on the mound, okay, you were backing him, whether it was on the money line or the run line. But he's been a different pitcher this year. So for me, I'm going to go with the Guardians as a slight home favorite here, Dylan. What do you got for this game?
Yeah, I do like the Guardians. If I were to pick a side, I think coming back home after getting swept, I think they're in a good spot. Like you said, Dylan Cease kind of been inconsistent this season, but I did set my total at 7.3. I'm gonna go under here, under 8. Guardians, like I said, not playing well. They have no offense. They can't hit a home run to save their life. White Sox have been playing a little better, but on the road this season, 7-16 straight up. They're not really the best team on the road. And usually we talk about overs have been profitable for the White Sox. Not anymore. 2-8 toward the under their last 10. And Cleveland, they've been a dead under team this whole season. They're second best towards the under, 17-27, hitting at 62%. So I'm going to be on all the unders for the Cleveland Guardians, especially at home. So I'm going to take the under 8. I do lean Guardians with you.
All right, next game on the board, 6:35 Eastern Start, the Texas Rangers and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Nathan Eovaldi gets a start for the Rangers. Rich Hill is on the mound for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Minus 155 on the money line for the Texas Rangers, plus 135 for the home puppy here in the Pirates. Total set at 8.5. A little bit of Vic towards the under. Run line minus 1.5, plus 110 for the Rangers, and plus 1.5, minus 130 for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Dylan, what do you got for this game?
Yeah, gonna stay with the total. I'm gonna go over. I was able to grab an 8 earlier in the day, but I still like the over 8.5. I made my total 8.7. Rich Hill at home has not been good this season. Over a 5 ERA at home, 14 runs given up in 17 hits. Batters are hitting over 300 off of him, so I'm just gonna completely fade him and the Pirates in the spot. Rangers coming into Pittsburgh hot right now, 7-3. Toward the over in their last 10, including going over this number in 5 straight games. Their bats are lethal. I think they're gonna really hit Hill this spot. So I think it's a bad spot for Hill. So I do lean the Rangers. It's getting up there in price. I only made him a minus 150 favorite. So I don't want to lay it. Rangers have a bad bullpen. I think we see a lot of runs in this game. So give me the over.
Yeah, I agree with you about an over here. I'm looking at the Rangers team total over since they are on the road here. Obviously, they get all 9 at-bats here, 9 innings. And you take a look at these batting splits for the Texas Rangers against left-handed pitching. They are top 3 in most of the statistical hitting categories, whether it's WRC+, whether it's team batting average, slugging percentage. And it's been consistent throughout the season and over the last 2 weeks as well. So if you want to take a look at the Rangers team total to go over in this game, maybe first 5 over as well, I think they'll be able to get to Rich Hill here, like D-Rock mentioned. So I don't also hate the run line here, minus 1.5 at plus odds for the Texas Rangers either. So their offense has looked really good. We saw it over the weekend where they were able to put up a lot of runs. So I think that the Rangers train is the way to go here for this game against the Pirates. All right, next game on the board here, we have a 6:40 Eastern start. It's going to be the Toronto Blue Jays visiting the Tampa Bay Rays. I see Jose Berrios is going to get the start here for the Toronto Blue Jays. And Taj Bradley gets the start here for the Rays. On the money line, I am seeing the Blue Jays are a plus 110 underdog and minus 130 for the home favorites here. Total is set at 8.5. Run line minus 1.5, plus 145 for the Tampa Bay Rays, and plus 1.5, minus 170 for the Toronto Blue Jays. Jose Berrios has been kind of up and down this season. The Blue Jays have won 2 of his last 3 starts, but if you take a look at the splits for Berrios in Toronto, he's really good. 2-1 with a 2.22 ERA. But on the road this season, he's 1-3, and that ERA nearly triples, actually almost exactly triples, where he's at a 6.67 ERA. He's pitched 28 1/3 innings on the road, and he's allowed 21 earned runs in that span. He did have a good start against the Pirates, but other than that, against the Red Sox in Fenway Park, he gave up 5 earned runs. Against the Astros, a decent start, but then at the beginning of the season against the Royals and the Angels, he gave up 12 earned runs on the road in just about 9 2/3 innings pitched. So, and then also something that kind of stood out to me about Jose Berrios, Dylan, here on the road in Tampa in his career, 0-3 with an 8.68 ERA and 4 starts in Tampa. Taj Bradley, I know he's been pretty decent thus far this season for the Rays, but he is also susceptible to giving up a few runs here. So I think we will see some runs early on if you're able to get a 4.5 in the first 5 innings over, or if you want to play the Rays first 5 inning team total. I'm not opposed to that either. As far as the side, I do lean with the Rays at minus 130, but my more favorite play is going to be the over 8.5 and the first 5 over, and also the Rays team total to go over in this game here, Dylan.
Yeah, so I'm seeing right now at Bet365, first five over 3.5, minus 135.
Okay, I would bet
So
that immediately.
yeah, is Bet365, before I get into my game, is that only a New Jersey book and London,
Um,
right?
I think so.
Yeah, that's weird
Yeah, I
because
think
we're
so.
able to bet it in New Jersey and Mal has it in the UK. And I was like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's kind of weird. But yeah, I agree on the over. I set my total at 8.9, but I do like the raise here at this short price. I got him minus 125, still like him at minus 130. I made him a minus 160 favorite. I'm a fan of Taj Bradley. He does give up the home run a lot, but he does have some nasty stuff when he's in control. I got to fade Barrios, like you said, on the road. Toronto is just not in a good place right now. They've lost four straight. Jose Barrios, you want to back him at home, but not on the road. Rays amazing at home. What are they? I'm looking at the number 21 and four straight up at home. I think they're gonna win. So give me the Rays on the money line. I also like the over.
Love it. All right. Before we continue here, for the Tuesday schedule, let me tell everyone about Shady Rays and Shady May. Shady Rays is teaming up with SGPN for Shady May. Not only do you get an amazing 50% off, but you also have a chance to win $500. Shady Rays have you covered from the sun to the slopes with premium polarized shades, customizable snow goggles, and much more. Shady Rays have durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. If you don't love them, exchange them for a new pair or return them free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop with Shady Rays. Their team always has your back. And for our international listeners, Shady Rays has you covered as well, with shipping to Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. So go to shadyrays.com and use promo code SGPN for 50% off of two or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. And remember, May is almost over, so make sure to take your receipt to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady for your chance to win $500 in the Shady May contest. All right, Dylan, let's keep it going here, my man. Next game on the board, it's going to be a 7:05 Eastern start, an AL East battle between the Baltimore Orioles and the New York Yankees. Kyle Bradish gets to start for the Baltimore Orioles, and Garrett Cole gets to start for the New York Yankees. Yankees a minus 165 favorite, plus 140 as the money line for the underdog in the Baltimore Orioles. Total set at 8. Run line minus 1.5 plus 120 for the New York Yankees and plus 1.5 minus 140 for the Baltimore Orioles. We'll start here with Kyle Bradish on the season. He has been, I guess we could say, average for the Baltimore Orioles. Trying to pull up his numbers here. All right, so the Baltimore Orioles have actually won 3 out of his last 4 starts on the season. He's 2-1 with a 3.90 ERA. Over his last 3 games, 1-0 with a 2.04 ERA. He has a better ERA on the road with the 3.12 ERA compared to at Camden Yards with a 4.80 ERA. On the flip side, Garrett Cole he had his one bad outing, which was against the Rays a few starts ago, back on May 7th, where he went 5 innings and did give up 5 earned runs in that game and 2 home runs. But other than that start, Dylan, he hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs in any of his starts thus far this season. He's had 4 straight no decisions after starting about 4-0 for the New York Yankees. I trust Garrett Cole more at home, where he's just been so dominant thus far this season. You take a look at the numbers at home this season, 3-0 with a 1.18 ERA. Yes, 45 strikeouts in 38 innings pitched at Yankee Stadium, and also against the Baltimore Orioles in his career since he joined the Yankees. 6 home starts, 6-0 with a 6-0 straight up, and 4-2 on the run line here. So I'm going to lean with the Yankees here. I do like the run line here as well. I think Garrett Cole will continue pitching well here for the New York Yankees. Dylan, what do you got?
Yeah, I lean Yankees here. This one was a tough one to handicap. Both teams, they're playing good baseball right now. Yankees haven't lost a single start. Cole's pitched in the Bronx. He's only given up 5 runs in 6 starts at home. He's just been on fire. I know the Orioles are playing good baseball and plus 150, plus 155 I'm seeing out there. That's very tempting for an Orioles team who have been playing good baseball, but I just keep coming back to they play much better with Cole. They usually play lower scoring games, maybe a lean under 8, but maybe I do lean Yankees and I lean under, but nothing I really got to the window with this one. But I trust Cole more in this spot.
All right. Next game on the board, we have another 7:05 Eastern start. The San Diego Padres, they are headed to the nation's capital to take on the Washington Nationals. Yu Darvish gets to start here for the Padres, and Mackenzie Gore is on the mound for the Washington Nationals. Minus 150 for the road favorite here, the San Diego Padres, at plus 130 on the money line for the home puppy here, the Washington Nationals. Total set at 8 with a little bit of vig towards the under at minus 115. Run line minus 1.5, plus 115 for the Padres, and plus 1.5, minus 135 for the Nationals here. Dylan, lead us off.
Yeah, I got 2 plays in this one. Give me the home puppy, the National. I love the under 8.5. I only made the Padres a minus 115 favorite. Padres have been slipping in my rankings, 21 and 26 on the year. It just won't cut it with the amount of talent they have on this team. They got a nice win Sunday night, but still 2-8 in their last 10. The Nationals, they've been swinging the bat much better. These two are closer than most people think, which is even ridiculous to say. But if you aren't cashing on the Padres unders, you should be 14 and 31 toward the under. They're hitting at 68.9, just call it 69% of the time. 8.5 is way too high. They only have gone over this number one time in the past 16 games for the Padres. I made my total 7.6. Manny Machado's still out of the fold. This offense is not clicking right now. Might be my favorite play, but under 8.5 is the official play. And I also lean Nationals. I think they're live here against a struggling Padre team.
Yeah, this is it Mackenzie Gore's first start against them since the trade for
Yes.
Soto, right? I know Mal's not a huge guy about the revenge angle, but Mackenzie Gore, he's been okay thus far this season. I know the ERA is at 3.69, and really hasn't translated to victories for the Nationals, where they've given up they've lost 4 straight games when Mackenzie Gore has started for the Nationals. Yu Darvish has been traditionally a guy that I do like backing at home. But on the road here, I think you're right. I also did like the underdog here in the Washington Nationals, at least in the first 5 innings with Gore on the mound. So I will take the first 5 inning money line here for the Washington Nationals. And quickly looking at Darvish's numbers on the road, he has an ERA of 4.00. Again, it just continues that he's dominant at home and then he does struggle on the road. So I think there is some value here definitely on the Washington Nationals, at least in the first game of this series against the Padres. All right, Dylan, next game on the board. Let's go over to probably the early matchup of the week. It's got the LA Dodgers the LA Dodgers visiting the Atlanta Braves. So for this game, I am seeing Bobby Miller is going to get the start for the Dodgers, and then Spencer Strider is going to get the start for the Atlanta Braves. Minus 210 on the money line for the Atlanta Braves, plus 180 on the money line for the LA Dodgers. Total set at 8.5 with a little bit of vig towards the under at minus 120. Run line minus 1.5, minus 105 for the Braves, and plus 1.5, minus 115 for the Dodgers. Dylan, I don't remember the last time the Dodgers were a plus 180 underdog, but it is Spencer Strider. He's having a great season thus far. What are you thinking about this game?
Yeah, it's going to be either dog or pass, but this one was another one tough to handicap. I did want to back the Braves here, but they're not playing the best right now. But I also don't want to lay over $2 with them either.
Yeah.
I like the over 8.5 as well at even money. I'm seeing I made my total 9.2. Bobby Miller, he's making his first start on the road. And I think the Braves could score a few runs off of him. This is still a very good lineup. They're averaging 4.4 runs in their last 5 games, while the Dodgers bats have seemed to have woken up as well. They're averaging 6 runs per game in their last 5. So overs have been cashing in Atlanta as well. So I do like the price. I made the Braves a minus 190 favorite. So we are getting up there in price. So it's either dog or the over for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to pass up a price of plus 180 for the Dodgers, but I know, like you mentioned, they have Bobby Miller getting his first start here for the Dodgers. And, Strider has been really dominant this season. He did have one start against the Dodgers last season. In 6 innings, he allowed 0 earned runs. He only allowed 5 hits and had 7 strikeouts for the Atlanta Braves in that start. And this season he's actually been, like I mentioned, he's been really good for the Atlanta Braves. 4-1 with a 2.96 ERA. So I do like the look of what you mentioned about the Braves team total here, possibly in the first 5 innings. If Bobby Miller is going to get hit, it's probably early on within those first couple innings for the Atlanta Braves. So I look at a Braves team total over in this game. I could see a world where Spencer Strider just goes out and dominates and the Braves do win. But with an offense like the Dodgers, we've seen many times where some of these aces they have those bad outings throughout the season. This could be one of those spots for Strider, but I'm going to trust the Atlanta Braves offense here against Bobby Miller in his first start for the Dodgers. I did miss the game, and let me just kind of go back and clarify. It was the Cardinals and the Reds. The lines are off the board right now because we don't have a pitcher for the Cardinals right now, but Graham Ashcraft is getting the start for the Cincinnati Reds. No confirmed pitcher yet for the St. Louis Cardinals. And then let me also mention, since we're on that topic, same thing for the Detroit Tigers and the Kansas City Royals. Don't see pitchers for either one of those teams just yet. I'm sorry. So Eduardo Rodriguez is what I'm seeing for the Tigers, but no pitcher yet for the Kansas City Royals. So we'll just kind of skip over those games with no lines and no probable pitchers for those respective teams. And that will bring us to then the next game on the board. Rightfully so, fitting 7:40 Eastern start. The New York Mets, they are headed to the Windy City to take on the Chicago Cubs. Kodai Senga gets a start here for the New York Mets. Drew Smyly, the left-handed pitcher, gets a start here for the Chicago Cubs. Mets are a slight favorite at minus 115, minus 105 on the take-back price for the Chicago Cubs. No total yet. Of course, we know because of the wind direction. We're waiting for that. But D-Rock, your Mets are visiting the Chicago Cubbies with Senga on the mound. What are you thinking about this game?
Yeah, I saw a 9 earlier. You're right. Totals are off the board right now. Earlier, I did see 9s pop up, and I grabbed the under.
Okay.
Minus 115. Hopefully the Mets win. I can't back them right now. I've been fading them for the past 5-6 days, and they've been cashing. So I'm just going to continue to fade them. But as for the side, I do like the under 9. You got 2 good pitchers on the mound with Senga and Drew Smyly. Smyly at home, he's been great. 3 of his 4 home starts have gone way under this total. Senga, he struggled a little on the road this season, but I think he might be catching the Cubs in a good spot. They're struggling to put some runs together, a lot of swing and misses. So maybe you want to look towards the Senga strikeout prop. He strikes out a lot of batters. I think he's coming off a 12K performance.
Wow.
So depending on where it's coming out, maybe 6-7 Ks, I'd probably take that over. But Cubs, yeah, like I said, they strike out a lot, but I think we'll see a lower scoring game. Last time I checked the weather, we got winds blowing in at Wrigley as well. But let's just make sure it is a 9, because if it is, I like the under. I set my total at 8.1.
Yeah, the Mets are struggling against left-handed pitching thus far this season. They are number 21 against, number 21 in WRC plus against left-handed pitching thus far this season. The team batting average also ranks number 22 this season, just around 240. Slugging percentage is at 391 against left-handed pitching, which ranks number 22. So definitely well below average are the Mets right now. I would probably look at some strikeout props in this game. And if the wind is truly moving in, if you're getting a high total around 8.5 or 9, I would definitely look at the under, because Drew Smyly has actually been really good thus far this season for the Chicago Cubs. All right, Dylan, let's get over to the next game of the day. We have a 7:40 Eastern start. The San Francisco Giants, they're going to be in Minnesota to take on the Twins. Sonny Gray gets to start here for the Minnesota Twins, and Alex Cobb gets to start here for the San Francisco Giants. Plus 120 on the money line for the San Francisco Giants, and minus 140 for the Sonny Gray led Minnesota Twins. Total set at 7.5. Run line -1.5 plus 170 for the Twins, and +1.5 -200 for the San Francisco Giants. Sonny Gray has been absolutely phenomenal thus far this season for the Minnesota Twins. By far their best pitcher thus far this season, where he is 4-0 with a 1.64 ERA. At home, he's a 3-0 with a 0.89 ERA. He's only allowed 3 earned runs in 30 and 1/3 innings pitched at home thus far this season. So just absolutely dominant at home thus far this season. Now, you look at it on the flip side, the Twins haven't been able to win any of his last 3 starts after they started 3-0 and it starts back in April. But over his last 3 starts, they've lost each of those last 3 games, and more so because the bullpen has been giving it up to the opposition, where they play the Guardians, the Cubbies, and the Dodgers. Alex Cobb is going to get the start here for the San Francisco Giants, and he's having a pretty good season thus far himself. The Giants have won 3 straight starts with Cobb on the mound. On the season, 3-1 with a 1.94 ERA, 2-1 at home, but he is 1-0 with a 2.14 ERA on the road thus far this season. I'm not going to trust the Minnesota Twins bullpen here, Dylan. What brought me to and what caught my attention was the first 5 innings run line for the Minnesota Twins in games that Sonny Gray has started thus far this season for the Minnesota Twins. Within those first 5 innings, the Twins are 4-1 on the run line with Sonny Gray starting. So I think that, again, with the domination that he does have at home, like I mentioned, he's only given up 3 earned runs in about 30 innings pitched at home. Alex Cobb has gone along well as well. So I think that we could possibly see a 1-0, 2-0 type of lead for the Twins within those first 5 innings. So I'm going to take the Twins' first 5 run line. I also do like the full game under in this game as well with these 2 studs on the mound here, Dylan.
Yeah, I took the Twins money line, but after listening to you, I think I might take the Minnesota Twins first 5 -0.5. Actually, I see it plus. You're getting plus half, but it's chalky at -150. It's weird sometimes. It's like that, but yeah, probably going to be all on the Twins here. I mean, how can you not back Sonny Gray at this pot? You know, he's been terrific at home. He's only given up 3 runs in 30 innings at home. He hasn't allowed more than 1 run in any of his starts at home. Giants, their lineup is bad. I don't trust their lineup at all. They're just 7-13 on the road. So I'm going to tell you in this one. I took the Twins on the money line -135, but it is getting up there right now. I'm seeing -140, -144. So I only made him a -150 favorite. So to get the number down, I'll probably tell you I'll take the Twins first 5 -0.5.
I think there's some huge value on their full game run line as well. I mean, at +170 with Sonny Gray on the mound.
Yeah.
I think you got to take a look at that. If Sonny Gray's able to go maybe 6, possibly 7 innings, I kind of want to look how many innings he's been going. But over his last 3 starts, he hasn't made it past the 5th inning. So I think that first 5 innings run line might be the best bet here for this Twins game against the Giants.
And even if they're winning, Giants bullpen is the 3rd worst in the league at 5.22 ERA. Twins, they're kind of middle of the pack. They're 3.88 ERA, but yeah, +170. It's worth a sprinkle. I agree.
Yeah. All right, next game on the board. Let's get over to a 8:40 Eastern start. We have the Miami Marlins. They are in the Mile High City to take on the Colorado Rockies. Yuri Perez gets a start here for the Miami Marlins, and Austin Gomber on the mound for the Colorado Rockies. I am currently seeing the Marlins are a road favorite here of -120 and even money on the money line for the Colorado Rockies. Total is set at 11. It's starting to move towards 11.5 because the VIG on the 11 is at -125 right now. Run line -1.5 +135 for the Marlins and +1.5 -155 for the Colorado Rockies here. Dylan, what are you thinking about this matchup?
Yeah, this one, another tough one to handicap. I tried to be cute last week and backed the Rockies several times. It didn't work out, lost some money. And now Austin Gomber on the mound. He's been awful at home. I do like the kid, Yuri Perez, but this is going to be his first start on the road, going up to altitude. might shake him up a little, might be a bad spot for him. So I kind of want to see how he pitches in his first road start. If anything, lean over. I am seeing 11s out there. There are 11 and a halves. I made my total 11.7. So I think we see some runs off of both pitchers. Gomber, he gets smacked around, and the Marlins have been playing some competitive baseball as of late. So yeah, I lean over in this game. It's either over or pass.
Yeah, currently DraftKings has that 11 right now. So if you're
Yeah.
watching live or if you're getting to this pod early, I would definitely get on that because I feel like that's going to be it's going to be on the move any minute now for this over in this game. All right, let's get over to the next matchup, and I believe this is going to be the penultimate game of the night. So let me revert back to the Astros and the Brewers. So no pitcher yet for the Brewers. JP France is going to get the start for the Astros, but again, no pitcher right now for the Milwaukee Brewers in that matchup. So no lines, no pitcher. I don't want to waste people's time, so we'll just kind of skip over that game. So then we have 2 games left on the board. Penultimate game, the Boston Red Sox. They are in LA to take on the Angels. I am seeing Brian Bello is going to get the start here for the Boston Red Sox, and Griffin Canning is going to get the start here for the LA Angels. Looking at the lines for this game, the Red Sox are a slight favor of -115 on the money line and -105 for the LA Angels. Total set at 9.5, a little bit of vig towards the under at -115. Run line -1.5 +150 for the Red Sox and +1.5 -175 for the LA Angels here. Brian Bello, I know one of Mal's lads he really likes. He's bounced back very nicely thus far this season, especially over the last 3 starts for the Boston Red Sox. He's 3-0 in those last 3 starts with a 2.81 ERA, 16 innings pitched in that span, only allowed 5 earned runs. Overall in the season, he's 3-1 with a 4.45 ERA. The Red Sox, have actually won 5 straight starts in Brian Bello's starts thus far this season, or at least over the last 5 starts, which were against the Mariners, the Braves, the Blue Jays, and the Guardians. So some really good offenses in that span. He hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in 4 straight starts for the Boston Red Sox. Now, he did face the Angels earlier this season, actually, in his first start back on April 17th, and he did get blown up in that game by the Angels, where he allowed 5 earned runs and 2 and a third inning pitch, 2 and 2/3 innings pitched against the Angels. So it was a quick outing or a quick game for the for Brian Bello in that game. Griffin Canning on the other side here for the Angels. He's been up and down for them. He's allowed at least 2 earned runs in every single one of his starts. He's allowed at least 3 earned runs in his 3 straight starts for the Angels. At home thus far this season, 1-1 with a 6.59 ERA. Overall, in his last 3 games, he's actually gotten blown up. He's 1-2 with an 8.36 ERA. So I think here, Dylan, we may be able to see some runs early. I know the Red Sox offense has been doing very well over the past several weeks. We know what the Angels have on that other side with Ohtani, Trout, Rendon, Taylor Ward. Those guys can hit the ball as well. And we saw, like I mentioned, Brian Bello got blown up by this Angels team in his first start of the season. So I think both pitchers can give up a few runs here. I don't trust the Red Sox bullpen either. I know the Angels bullpen has done significantly better this far this season. So for me, I like runs in this game. I'll probably look at an Angels team total over, but I think I really do like the first 5 innings over in this game here, Dylan.
Yeah, I'm seeing first 5 over at 5. You like it?
I love that.
All right, cool. Yeah, I like the over as well. 9.5. I made my total 10.1. I wanted to back the Red Sox, but I was hoping for a plus price. Didn't get there. I do trust the bats a little more for the Red Sox, and we also have 7-mile-an-hour winds blowing out into center field. And I actually like that the Red Sox got shut out the other night, because now I think they're going to explode with runs in this series. Canning, he's been getting hit around in the month of May, not that best pitcher. So I think this is a bounce back spot for Bello. He remembers that he got blown up, but I still think this lineup for the Angels can knock a few runs off of him as well. So first 5 over and full game over as well.
Last game on the board, 10:40 Eastern start. We have the Oakland A's. They are in Seattle to take on the Mariners. I am seeing Luis Medina is going to get the start for the Oakland A's, and Marco Gonzalez, left-handed pitcher, is going to get the start for the Mariners. Looking at the lines here, The Mariners are a prohibitive favorite, minus 240 on the money line, plus 200 on the money line for the Oakland A's. Total set at 8.5. Run line minus 1.5, minus 115 for the Mariners, and plus 1.5, minus 105 for the Oakland A's. Luis Medina so far this season, not very good for the Oakland A's. I mean, that's been the story for their entire pitching staff thus far this season. But overall, he's 0-2 with a 6.88 ERA, 17 innings pitched. He's allowed 13 earned runs in that span. His last start was against the Arizona Diamondbacks. The A's lost that game 5-3. May 11th against the Rangers, 4-0 loss, and then against the Angels back on April 26th, 11-3 loss in those three starts. So the A's have lost by 2 or more runs at minimum in all three of its starts thus far this season. On the flip side, Marco Gonzalez, he's been all right for the Mariners. Looking at his numbers here, he did get smacked by the Red Sox in his last start in Fenway Park, where he only lasted 1 2/3 innings pitch. He allowed 8 earned runs. It was a quick hook there for Marco Gonzalez. But other than that, he's been pretty decent for the Mariners. Looking at his home numbers here, he doesn't have a decision yet, but he does have a 4.76 ERA. Now, the ERA is a little bit inflated just because of the outing against the Red Sox. And he also did give up 5 earned runs against the Toronto Blue Jays back on April 30th. But one thing that did kind of stick out to me about Marco Gonzalez, Dylan, is that since the 2020 season, in 10 starts against the Oakland A's, he's 6-1 with a 3.99 ERA. So I think I do like the over in this game. I'm not opposed to the Mariners run line in this game at minus 1.5. I just think Luis Medina he's going to give up the run. So if you want to look at a stack here of Mariners team total in the first 5 innings or full game, but I also do like the Mariners on the run line here, minus 1.5 to take care of business against the Oakland A's, because really these are the teams that the Mariners should be beating up on, especially in an AL West division where it's going to be the Rangers. They're off to a great start. The Astros, they've kind of been inconsistent, but they're right there in that division. And also the Mariners, who had a lot of hype coming into the season. So, those are the teams that you kind of really have to beat up on. And the Angels, they're going to be hanging around as well. So you got to beat up on these lesser opponents. But what do you got for this game?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think getting minus 115 on the run line against a bad A's team is very favorable and very generous of the book. So I agree with that. I do like the over. I'll end it with another over. I made my total 9.3. I'm on a lot of overs tonight, but I'm on the over tonight for them in this game, and I'll run it back one more time. Oakland is hitting the overs in 58% of their games, and Luis Medina is not someone you want to back on the road. In his last start, like you mentioned, he gave up 7 runs. And Marco Gonzalez, I'm a big Mariner guy, but he isn't the best guy either. He's due for some runs as well. He's gotten beaten up in the month of May, and 2 of his 3 starts skied over this number. So I see a bunch of runs in this whole series, not just today and tomorrow, but I'll probably be on the over for most of these games. So I'm going to end it with an over as well.
Yeah, I know a lot of people got burned because they were backing the Astros bats to kind of dominate the Oakland A's over the weekend, or over the last weekend, I should say. But the Astros offense has kind of been inconsistent, but we'll see if the Mariners are able to take advantage of the poorest pitching of the Oakland A's. All right, so that was the last game that is on the board. Again, I think we skipped over 3 to 4 games because we just didn't have pitchers. So again, like I mentioned, make sure to check out Tally Site for our picks for those games. When and if the pitchers when the pitchers are posted, it'll probably be overnight or after the games here on Monday night for those teams. But one order of business left to conduct here. That's going to be our lock and dog for the Tuesday schedule. Dylan, you want to lead us off with your lock and dog?
Yeah, I was figuring out what was the game we just talked about where we could say we could get a plus 170 on the run line.
The Twins.
Oh, yeah. I'll take that as my dog with Sonny Gray on the mound. Giants, not a good hitting lineup. Not a good team on the road in general, just 7-13. I think they could win by 2 or more runs. At home, Twins are a pretty good team. So I'll take the Twins on the run line as my dog at plus 170. I mean, that's ridiculous, I feel like. And for my lock, I mentioned it earlier, I'm going to take the under 8.5 in Padres and Nationals. Padres are the best under team, hitting at 69%. 8.5 is way too high. This offense is just not clicking right now. They've only gone over this number one time in the past 16 games. Darvish, Mackenzie Gore, both decent pictures. I think we see a 3-1, 4-1 type of game. So give me the under 8.5 as my lock, and as my dog, I'll sprinkle the Twins on the run line.
Yeah, love the Twins tomorrow. I mean, we talked about the numbers of Sonny Gray, especially at home. He's just been so dominant. So hopefully he can continue that against the San Francisco Giants. All right, for my lock, we'll go to the last game we just talked about. Marco Gonzalez against the Oakland A's. Just really fading Luis Medina here. I think that the Mariners are going to be able to take care of business. I'll take the run line. -1.5, -115 for the Seattle Mariners as my lock. And for my dog, I am going to go to a couple ways I can go here. I think I'm going to take the Rays on the money line, -130. I think that is a cheap price. We talked about Jose Berrios. He's been really good in Toronto at Rogers Stadium or Rogers Center, wherever they call it. And he's just been atrocious on the road thus far this season. It's kind of been the story since he joined this Toronto Blue Jays team, that he's been good at home and then just kind of atrocious on the road. So Taj Bradley, I know he's been giving up a few runs here and there, but I do have full confidence that the Rays bats are going to be able to get to Jose Berrios here early. So I'm definitely going to be stacking this game on the team totals for the Tampa Bay Rays, but officially the pick as the lock is going to, for the dog is going to be the Rays -1.5 +145 as my dog. I think that they can win this game by multiple runs. So again, lock for me, Mariners -1.5, -115. And then for my dog, Rays run line -1.5 +145 against the Toronto Blue Jays.
Love it.
All right. That is going to do it for this edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast. A nice 48 minutes here. Dylan, anything else you want to mention, my man, before we get out of here?
No, I just went on Twitter real quick while you were rattling it off, and everyone should go show love to Mal's Twitter page. He just posted this handsome picture of him drinking at the bar. So he's probably celebrating some wins in the Premier League. So, it's been up for 5 minutes. He already has 9 likes. I'm telling you, this guy's a popular guy.
Yeah, that's why we keep him around. Yeah, I was watching the match earlier. I think they just needed either a draw or a win for them to secure a place in top 4 to get into the Champions League this season. I think they ended up a draw against Leicester City. So,
nice.
Mal is excited about that. I think there was the first time since I think I saw 2002 is what I read, where Newcastle would be back in the Champions League. So they've secured a top 4 spot in Premier League. So they'll be headed to the Champions League for this upcoming season. So I'm sure we'll hear more about that on tomorrow's pod from Mal, because he was at the match here against Leicester City.
I do want to shout out Mal as well. He told me Nottingham Forest plus 425 against Arsenal. They got it done, and no more regulation. They're not getting regulated. So thank God.
Yeah, if you haven't already, man, you guys need to check out the Premier League Gambling Podcast with Mal and Boz. I know the season's winding down. I think there's about maybe 2 matches left for each team, or 2 or 3 matches left for the season. But Manchester City has already clinched the title this season. Just kind of ironing out who's going to be going where, whether it's Champions League, whether who's getting regulated, who's going to be able to stay in the Premier League. So definitely check those guys out. They've been crushing it over on the Premier League podcast with Mal and Boz. If you haven't already, smash that like button for us before you guys get out of here. Shout out to everybody in the chat, Captain Insano, TVDBJ. Appreciate you guys always tuning in with us. And again, subscribe to the YouTube channel for the MLB Gambling Podcast. Make sure to follow Dylan at Rock with 2 Ks, ROCKK24. Follow me on Twitter at SportsNerd824. Follow the Twitter account at MLB SGPN. We'll be back tomorrow in some form and fashion. Till then, good luck with your bets here tonight. Let's break these books off and let it ride.